on the defense and continue to work on the defensive back room with Christian Garcia, who we're going to elevate to the position. Richard will work with the defensive backs continue, but he'll also work with me on some of the game planning issues as well. And then everybody else will remain in their positions as we go forward and see how these things go. We're gonna work today. We'll work tomorrow, and we'll talk about how we're going to do things as a defense, and we'll go from there.
So to be clear, Christian Garcia will take over for Vieselmeyer's role, and Richard Rogers will maintain his same role?
Yes, with the exception of working with me specifically on some of the game planning things.
Okay.
Ron, in 2018, you took over defensive play calling, around this time of the year. How do you get back into the swing of it? How do you prepare? What does that look like? And is what you did then relevant to now?
Not necessarily relevant. What this is a little bit more about, obviously, is just, again, focusing in on just the defensive side again. That will be really what I will be doing. I won't spend any time or have the opportunity to spend any time over, hanging out with the offensive coaches and visiting with EB on stuff. So we'll just continue to the focus will solely be on preparing the defense and getting ready for our next opponent each week.
Hey, Ron, did you get...
What will you do this? Will you start this weekend? Will you wait to get back until Tuesday? What does this weekend look like for you?
Well, we'll finish up today, and then we'll work tomorrow, and we'll take a little bit of a break. We'll come back on Monday and start preparing and getting ready. I've already talked to all the defensive coaches, talked to the entire coaching staff, and then I talked to the defensive staff. Then I talked to each defensive coach individually and talked about what I was looking for and what I wanted to get accomplished. One thing is again, we will pare things down a lot, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Ryan, can you kind of share what the conversation was a little bit like with team owner Josh Harris when coming to this decision?
Well, for the most part, after going through, yesterday and a very long evening and then morning, I reached out to Mr. Harris and I informed him of what I was deciding and what I was going to do, and wanted to make sure he was aligned with me, and he agreed and okayed my decision, and I went forward. And but I called him early and just told him just kind of looking at the situation, circumstances, and just kind of use the snowball analogy. It was one of those things that just kind of started again. It's hard to get out of it, and this is probably the thing that I felt was necessary to do to hopefully get out of this rut and get to a point where we can play to our abilities. It was hard because we got some good guys and we did some good things, but unfortunately something bad would happen and it just kind of escalated.
Ron, along those lines, did you get any feedback from the players before you making this decision, and what kind of feedback, if any, did you get? I
talked to the players, and what I talked with the players is between me and them for the most part. I talked to them after I made this decision. I talked to a lot of people prior to making the decision, and I just think at the end of the day, what you communicate, what you discuss, stuff like that should remain private.
You mentioned you'll be focusing on the defensive side of the ball. Where does that leave EB, and what do you hope to see from him in these final 5 weeks here?
Well, I'd like to see the continued growth and again, just the continue to work to get to a point where we are consistent. And again, we have to play complementary football. I know it's one of the things that we were stressing and trying to get to. And again, it's being consistent on both sides in playing well and sustaining success. When something good goes, let's continue to build off of that, and that's what we're hoping to do.
I know during training camp we talked to you about his style, and obviously some players had come to you at the time. How has that been throughout the year, and do those concerns, I guess, are those still concerns inside the building?
No, they're not concerns still inside the building. The big thing more so than anything else is everybody's learning and understanding and growing, and you're going to take knocks early on. Things just don't automatically become easy. If you don't struggle a little bit, if it's not hard, the hard is what you learn from, and I think that's what's happening. We are learning, and I do go back to my first year in coaching position, we struggled. But after that, things got righted, and it was really a positive situation. So, that to me is almost expected and anticipated. There will be some struggles, and that's really what's happened. And again, I think EB's done a tremendous job. We've done some really good things offensively, but we're working to get to the consistency portion of it, and I know that's one of the things that EB always talks about.
Take three more. Ron, Jack and Brent have a history prior to Washington. Was that some connection there as to why they were the two removed?
No, I think, again, just going through it, I think these were just independent as far as I'm concerned. Just going through some of the things in my head that just felt, if there was one thing that, we needed to do was we needed to shake it up a little bit. And again, it's nothing that indicts what they do or how they do it. It's just that based on how we were playing, we just had to, get some things shooken up. So this is what I did.
Ron, I think your last call plays in 2019, right? How much will this be an adjustment for you, if at all?
I just think it'll be getting back into it and, going through, actually I was going through some things earlier just before I had to come out here and just kind of working my way again into that mode. So we'll just get ourselves ready to go and be prepared for next week.
Ron, is this move something that it really only developed over the last couple of days, or is it something you had started to think about over the last couple of weeks?
Well, it is something that, probably thinking about for a little bit. But, the culmination obviously was for yesterday, and it was just like it just snowballed again. And again, just thinking this might be the thing that could help it. Again, I just think that, everything that Jack and Brett did was to, do the best they can to help us. And unfortunately, we just didn't